My dearest child. Right now, yes, right now, I am standing on the verge of a place most fear to even speak of, the gates of hell. But do not be alarmed. I am not here because anything has gotten out of control. I'm here because everything is going exactly as I planned. What is happening right now is not chaos, it is command. The carvers of fate, those who only do what I say, are moving their hands with solemn precision. They are engraving a name into the eternal wall of condemnation, and I am watching them do it. But listen to me, my child, this is not a random name. This is not the name of a distant soul you've never met or a historical villain you've only read about. No. The name they're carving belongs to someone close to you. Someone whose voice you know. Someone whose presence has touched your life. Someone whose path crossed yours by design. That wall, once marked, is permanent. It does not fade. It does not forget. Once carved, it becomes destiny. Now you might be wondering, Lord, why are you showing me this? Why have you brought me to this moment of revelation? Because what is happening isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to awaken you. You deserve to know the truth. Yes, there is weight to it, but so is clarity. I'm not speaking with rage in my voice. I'm here with justice in my hands. That soul, the person you know, has reached a turning point. And the decisions they've made, the harm they've caused, the path they've chosen to take without repentance, it's all echoed louder than you realize. But you must understand that this is not revenge. This is not me acting out of rage. This is the balance tipping. The scales respond. This is justice, not because I enjoy it, but because I have to uphold it. I witnessed every lie, betrayal, and dark intention that they concealed behind smiles and charm. I saw something that no one else saw. I heard the words spoken in secret. I felt the hearts they wounded. And still, I waited. Still, I gave time. I left room for change, repentance, and return. But not everyone chooses the path back, my child. Not everyone pays attention when I say, turn around. Some keep walking deeper and deeper into the darkness, thinking they are untouchable. The carvers of fate have received their final order. The name is currently being sealed. The process is almost complete. What does that mean for you? Everything. Because you must now see this person through new eyes, not with hatred, but with understanding, wisdom, and discernment. This person may still be walking alongside you, speaking sweetly and acting as if nothing is wrong, but their spirit has already turned to ruin. And you, my child, deserve to walk in truth, not deception. So, why reveal this now? Because time is thin. Because their path is set. And you must be prepared. Because I love you too much to let you walk blindly next to someone whose soul has been claimed by what they chose, not what I wanted for them. You might still have questions. You might feel conflicted. But if you trust me and stay with me just a little longer, I will show you everything. What they did. Why does it matter? And what it means for you moving forward. My child, if you want to understand why this person's name is carved into the walls of hell, not as punishment, but as justice, you must walk with me from the beginning. Because what brought them to this fate wasn't one grand betrayal or a single horrific act. No. It began quietly. Like a shadow at noon. Barely noticed at first. It started with a whisper of jealousy, a seed so deep beneath the surface that even they didn't notice it. But I saw it. I watched as they smiled at you and cheered your victories aloud, while their hearts asked a different question, why not me? Why are they the ones chosen? Why does the light keep following them? That secret envy festered in silence. And where gratitude should have grown, resentment took hold. What started as a comparison slowly twisted into quiet rage. It was neither loud nor obvious. It was subtle. Patient. But it was fatal. Because that seed grew vines, reaching into their decisions, thoughts, and nights. At first, it was small things. Subtle shading in conversations. I am quietly undermining you. Wanting you to question your worth. But envy is never small, my child. It always feeds on more. When jealousy became unbearable, they sought any form of power. Not through me. Not with truth, love, or prayer. But in the shadows. Through paths that looked alluring, but led to ruin. They began to watch, study, and listen to voices that did not belong to me. Videos whispered about control. Books spoke of hidden forces. It intrigued them, this idea that they could bend life to their will. What began as curiosity quickly turned into fixation. They convinced themselves that it was harmless. Just energy. Just attraction. Just manifesting. But I sent signs. I stirred their spirits with warnings. I whispered in my dreams. I tugged on their conscience. But they ignored me. I laughed it off. They said, it's just a ritual. Just a candle. Just a chant. But you know the truth, my child, darkness always comes at a cost. And they paid willingly. Piece by piece, they traded away light for secrecy. Peace for paranoia. Divine protection for counterfeit power. They thought they had control, but in their pursuit of forbidden wisdom, they crossed a line that no human should ever cross. They didn't just discover information, they opened a door. I had sealed the door for a reason. The door is ancient, sacred, and cursed. And once open, it could not be closed without consequences. They started invoking what they didn't understand. Every midnight whisper, every name muttered under their breath, and every symbol traced in shadows brought something into this world. Something that did not come to serve. Something that arrived to consume. And what answered them wasn't peace. It was not guidance. It was not the universe, ancestors, or angels. It was a presence older than time. A deceiver dressed in charm. A destroyer disguised as light. It wrapped itself around their ambition and fed on their wounds. It promised power but delivered torment. They still welcomed it. They allowed it into their home, thoughts, and actions. So you see, my child, this isn't about a single mistake or weakness. This is about a pattern. A choice that is repeated, sustained, and defended. This is about a person who knew right from wrong but still chose the shadow. Someone who used what they had unlocked to influence others, harm, control, or curse. They didn't just invite darkness in. They weaponized it. And now the price is due. Hell is more than just a punishment here. It's the only place that mirrors what they became. You asked me why. Now you're starting to see. But there is more to reveal. There is one final thing you must understand. So walk with me, child, because the full truth is just ahead. What they awoke was not soft energy, nor was it a spiritual curiosity floating harmlessly in the wind. It was ancient. Ruthless. Cold. A force that predates the calendar. Older than kings and empires. Older than the fall of Eden. This wasn't a playful dabble in the unknown. This was rebellion, pure and defiant, dressed up in spiritual language. They told themselves it was a manifestation. They thought they were healing. They called it alignment, magic, and ancestral power. But I saw what it really was. I watched as they gazed into the abyss, then invited it to stay. Because darkness, my child, never takes without giving. But what it provides is never what it seems. It does not knock with courtesy. It slams through doors, dragging the innocent behind it. And that is exactly what happened here. They weren't just experimenting with shadows. They became one. Slowly. Subtly. They gave up. And the spirit they called upon, the thing they welcomed in, now walks freely. It spreads through their words, relationships, and reach. You feel its chill and wonder why peace seems farther and farther away. This is because the darkness does not isolate, rather, it spreads. And now, what once hid in corners is standing in full view. Yes, my child, you are correct to feel the weight of this. Because just when you think this story can't get any darker, I'll show you what they truly unlocked. And once you see it, truly see it, you'll understand why I couldn't look away. Why is this justice? Why did I have to act? You see, what they discovered was not a playful spirit. There wasn't a ripple in the unseen. It was a breach. A gate. A spiritual rupture not touched in generations. I sealed a door long ago for humanity's protection. Because the last time it was opened, it nearly destroyed my creation. This was not symbolic. This was a real gate, spiritual but deadly. Kept closed because it leads to a level of corruption that the earth was never meant to face again. And they ripped it open. Willfully. Blindly. That gate was the same one that, when opened many years ago, allowed darkness to enter the world. The darkness that existed during the days of Noah. You've heard legends about the Nephilim, who were indeed giants, but not only in size. Giants of sin. Giants are in rebellion. Beings created not by my hand, but through defiance, born of the unholy, conceived through spiritual trespass. They weren't myths. They were real. And their influence tainted the earth so thoroughly that mercy required a reset, not vengeance, but mercy. I washed the world clean, not because I had given up on it, but because I still believed in what could be saved. As I spoke through my word in Genesis 6 verse 5. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. That was not poetry. This was a warning. And what this person has done, what they've reopened, is the very essence of that warning. Not flesh. You cannot see the giants. But the spirit of the rebellion. It has crossed over. It's no longer waiting. The gate has been breached, and the power of what once ruled the world in chaos has found new hosts. So, my child, do you understand why I stood outside the gates of hell, not in rage, but in sorrow and clarity? Why is their name carved, not in cruelty, but in consequence? What has been set in motion cannot be ignored. And what they've brought into the world defies logic. It's something only I can contain. But to contain it, justice had to be sealed. Their rebellion opened the gate, and now their fate has sealed it shut. The rest of the story, my beloved one, is still unfolding. But you had to know this part first. And now you do. And now, my dear child, I need you to understand something very painful, but extremely important. The most tragic part of this entire story isn't that it started with darkness. It did not begin with demons, rituals, or wicked plans. No, It began with something painfully human, soft-spoken, that crept in quietly when no one was looking. It started with jealousy. Not a storm, not a curse, but a whisper. A silent envy settled in their hearts as they looked at you and wondered, why them? Why not me? And that whisper grew. That's heartbreaking, not that they were born evil, but that they allowed that seed to grow unchecked until it became unrecognizable. A thunderstorm disguised as a sigh. A wildfire started from a flicker. That is why I stand here today, not as a judge swinging wrath in the darkness, but as your God, who sees the whole picture. That's why I call this not punishment, but justice. Because they did not fall blindly. They did not slip without realizing. They made decisions, layered, deliberate, and cold. They traded the safety of grace for the shimmer of greed. They exchanged the truth for secrecy. They sold your trust and your safety in the name of power. And when a soul steps into that kind of rebellion, willfully, knowingly, my justice rises not out of vengeance, but to protect. I will not allow what threatens my choice to go unchallenged. I'm not just a comforter. I'm a defender. And I don't blink when evil attempts to get too close to you. So, when I say their name is being carved into the wall of hell, know that this is not an act of rage. It is a record. Heaven keeps track. And in the divine scrolls, their actions spoke louder than their words. They reached a line that I had drawn a long time ago. The line at which mercy ends and consequences begin. They knew it. They crossed it. And they chose their eternity with complete awareness. That is why their story concludes there. But now, my child, turn your heart back to me, because while their story ends, yours is just beginning. Pay close attention, because what I'm about to reveal will turn everything they tried to destroy. They sent a storm to swallow you, but it collapsed before reaching you. They hoped the darkness would dim your light, but it failed. And now comes the most feared part, the rise. Yes, my child, it is time for you to see why the enemy has fought you so hard. It's time to face the truth about who you are. You're not here by accident. You are not weak, forgotten, or unworthy. I handpicked you. You were created with purpose, power, and divine intention. When you feel empty, as if the air has been sucked from your lungs and the ground beneath you refuses to stop shaking, remember this, I'm still moving. Even in silence. Even in the waiting. I've never stopped working behind the scenes. Gather your strength not from yourself, but from me. You do not need to be fearless to keep going. You just need to be willing. So, if you've reached the end of your rope, tie a knot and hold on, this isn't the end. You're not defeated. You are not beyond repair. You're more than a conqueror. You're my warrior. My survivor. I chose it. My precious child. Listen closely. This is the truth your weary soul needs to hear today. I am more than just a God of miracles. I am not only present when blessings rain down, prayers are answered as you hoped, and doors swing wide open with favor. Yes, I am there in the celebration, joy, and laughter that occurs when life is full. But I am also deeply, powerfully present in places where nothing seems to move. I am in a pause. I am delayed. I am in a quiet stretch of time when it feels as if heaven has fallen silent. You may not see me. You may not hear me the way you want to. But I did not leave. I never will. I see every restless night. I can hear every sigh that goes unnoticed by others. I gather every tear that falls when you think no one is looking. I understand the questions you're too afraid to ask out loud, the aching and trembling ones. And I want you to know, my child, that I'm still working. Even in silence. Even while waiting. I'm creating something inside of you that can only be shaped in these slower seasons. These moments when nothing seems to change on the outside, these are the times when your roots grow deep in me. Do not mistake delay for denial. Do not confuse stillness and absence. I'm there, closer than the breath in your lungs. And my love for you is not dependent on your circumstances. It remains steadfast. It is constant. And it will never be taken from you. But hear this, my beloved, the life I breathed into you is not intended to revolve around your own comfort or success. I created you in my image not for personal gain, but for a sacred purpose. You were created to carry my light into dark places. To love boldly. To serve with compassion. To reflect my character in how you speak, forgive, and stand firm in truth when the world pulls at your soul. You were not designed just to survive. You were created to shine, to express what I've poured into you. You have a divine calling that the world cannot define and the enemy cannot erase. But to walk in that calling, you must draw near to me. Do not chase after every feeling or desire that arises within you. Instead, come to me. Lay your plans at my feet. Father, tell me what you have written for my life. And I promise to lead you. Perhaps not all at once. Maybe not with thunder and flashing signs. But I will guide you one step at a time, day after day. I will reveal your purpose at the perfect time. Trust me. I know the whole picture. Even when you can't, I can see the path ahead. And in that trust, you will find a peace that no achievement can equal, a fulfillment that surpasses anything this world can provide. Because your value, joy, strength, they don't come from chasing what's temporary. They result from remaining in me. From walking alongside me. From knowing that I am not just a distant God, but a loving Father who has called you by name and marked you for something holy. So raise your eyes, my child. Even if the road seems long. Even if your heart is tired. Remember who is walking beside you. I am not finished with you. I have not forgotten you. I am here, and always will be. Now, come. Take my hand. Allow me to show you not only who I am, but who you truly are in me. You have been seen. You were chosen. You are deeply loved. And, while it may feel uncertain right now, this journey is leading you to a future that is more beautiful than you could have imagined. Let that bring you peace today. Let that bring you comfort. Let it be the truth that you carry forward. Because I, your God, am with you always. One morning soon, dear one, you will open your eyes and feel the shift. The weight that has been pressing so hard on your heart will be removed. The heaviness that has followed you like a shadow, the weariness of long nights, the silent ache from battles no one else sees, it will pass. Not gradually. Not halfway. But completely. There will be a lightness in your chest. You have a calm spirit. You may not be able to explain it, but I will. Because I promised you this moment. And I've been preparing you for it all along. You may not know the exact hour or day, but I do. I see every ending before it happens. I see every breakthrough before the wall begins to crumble. And I know just the right moment to release what you've been seeking, healing, peace, restoration, and clarity. I have not forgotten a single prayer. I have not missed a single tear. I've been moving even when you couldn't see me, aligning the unseen pieces, shielding you from what you didn't know was threatening your path, and making room for what I'm about to pour into you. But I know it's been difficult. I see how you've carried your pain quietly. How you smiled through exhaustion and kept walking even when your legs felt weak. I see how you've questioned me in the silence, wondering if the wait will ever end. And I want you to know that this season will not last forever. This valley isn't your destination. It's all part of the journey. I'm walking alongside you. I have never left your side. Not in your confusion. Not in your lowest moments. Not when you felt like giving up. I've been holding your hand even when you couldn't feel it. So take a breath again. Not because everything is fixed yet, but because I remain faithful. Rest again. Not because the storm has passed, but because I am your safe haven in the middle of it. Take courage, not because you have all the answers, but because I have already written the ending. And the ending is good. Just wait a little longer, my child. Only one more step of faith. One more moment to surrender. One more night of trusting that morning will come. The sunrise your soul has been aching for is on its way, and it will warm every frozen part of your life. One that will bring color back to places you thought would always remain gray. I am not finished with you. I am not through writing your story. And I always finish what I started. So let this truth anchor you today. I am still leading you. I am still protecting you. And I am still the God who will see you through. Hold on, joy is on its way. Restoration is imminent. I am coming through for you in ways you could not have predicted. Just continue walking with me. You are almost there.